Ever wondered why Argentina is notorious for systematically eradicating its black population over the past few centuries? Well, the percentage of black people in Argentina in 1778, when the Spanish Empire governed Latin America, was 37%. But due to ethnic cleansing, it steadily decreased year after year. This is the untold story of slavery. This is the story of Argentina's darkest history. When we ponder into the history of Argentina, a shocking truth emerges about the systematic erasure of its black population over the centuries. In 1778, during the reign of the Spanish Empire in Latin America, Argentina boasted a substantial 37% black population. However, a haunting transformation occurred year after year, fueled by ethnic cleansing, leading to a drastic reduction in the black community. Astonishingly today, a staggering 97% of Argentina's populace identifies as white of European descent, leaving a mere 2% as black individuals out of the 45 million population. This harrowing reality paints a vivid picture of the plight faced by the black community, dwindling to a mere 0.15 million individuals, a heart-wrenching testament to a systematic process pushing them to the brink of extinction. But how did this tragic tale unfold? Let's delve into the untold chapters of Argentina's past and uncover the secrets behind the vanishing of its vibrant black culture. Continuing the untold history of slavery, in the early days of Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina, trade thrived as the main economic activity, and black individuals were forcefully taken from Africa, bound in chains, and brought to Argentina as enslaved people. As time passed, the influx of enslaved people in and out of Buenos Aires dramatically escalated. By the 1600s, the slave trade industry saw about 200,000 individuals being transported annually. Despite the legal cessation of the slave trade in 1813, slavery survived in Argentina until its complete abolition in 1853. Despite this dark history, the current picturesque appearance of Buenos Aires makes it hard to envision its past, marred by the harsh realities of the black slave trade. By the time slavery was banned in the 19th century, black people constituted approximately one-third of Argentina's population, with many of them being descendants of enslaved individuals still living in servitude. However, after critically analyzing black history, it becomes clear that disappearance unfolded through various means, accidental and deliberate. By combining these techniques, we can better understand how black people were erased from history in Argentina. During the Argentine War of Independence between 1810 and 1816, it is reasonable to speculate that black men who remained in servitude might have been forced into the battlefield, facing significant losses. However, attributing the decline of Argentina's black population solely to these wars is an overstatement, despite the undeniable failure of black lives during the hostilities. The deaths of many black men who constituted a substantial portion of the black community once led to the belief that these 18th century wars were responsible for the disappearance of black people in Argentina. It is crucial to recognize that the reduction in the black population was a multifaceted process. After slavery's abolition in 1853, black individuals still accounted for approximately one-third of the people, indicating that wars alone could not entirely explain the sharp decline in their numbers after the 1800s. Despite this, some have adopted and perpetuated this flawed narrative, disregarding the complexity of historical sources that have been altered, rendering them unreliable. The negligence exhibited by the administration towards the black population also played a significant role in their marginalization, excluding them from the national census and paying little attention to their concerns laid the groundwork for subsequent instances of racial profiling. This disregard for their presence and contributions further contributed to the erasure of black people from Argentina's historical narrative. Due to the significant number of black lives lost during the wars, fewer black men previously made up a sizable portion of the black population. As a result, women began to predominate, which caused the previously fairly balanced gender ratio to become unbalanced. Equitable. This, along with other circumstances, led to the rise of interracial unions in Argentina, leaving black women with only two choices as the number of black males fell: compete for the few remaining African men or marry Argentine men. Some women opted for the latter. However, it is debatable whether this is genuinely a choice. What is confusing are the inferences made as a result of this circumstance. After slavery was abolished, some people concluded that black people needed a place to call home, so many allegedly moved from Argentina to nearby countries like Brazil, where black people were more accepted. This theory appears to be based on the existence of some families that were entirely black. Still, it is unsatisfactory and insufficient to explain the complete disappearance of the black population from Argentina. This interpretation makes it seem to be the case. The history of Afro-Argentines is more complex and nuanced, and it merits more consideration. This approach, however, falls short of giving a thorough understanding of the various events that contributed to the disappearance of the black community from Argentine history. Changing a race to resemble white people is known as whitening. The ideology that underpins this project asserts that white people enjoy certain societal privileges relative to people of other races, and that these privileges continue even in situations where both races are subject to the same social, economic, and political conditions, which implies that black people are inferior and that black people should work towards development by gradually reducing their black ancestry. The offspring born from these unions with lighter skin are thought to be closer to the construct and standard of being white. In Argentina, the term whitening originally had little to do with skin color and instead concentrated on general attitudes and cultural behaviors. However, in practice, both interpretations of whitening led to discriminatory behaviors displayed by white Argentines towards those who did not possess whiteness by ignoring the underlying issues of inequality and racial discrimination. The Argentine government adopted and acted upon this ideology, which is regrettable. Here is a point to consider. Not only did this regime affect the people of color, but the legacy of whitening had a profound impact on local Argentine society, creating a complex web of racial hierarchies and divisions. The indigenous populations, who were the original inhabitants of the land, suffered immense marginalization as they were pushed to the fringes of society. Their land was taken away, their cultures were suppressed, and they were subjected to violence and forced assimilation. Black people experienced significant difficulties. With the quest for whitening came a loss of black identity, which stretched beyond Argentina. The Argentine government had ingeniously created a lure that anyone would bite. Beyond skin tone and genetic makeup, it also impacted consciousness and heritage awareness. There is a lot of misinformation about people's genealogy, as seen by the fact that 90% of people in Argentina currently identify as white. Many Argentines are unsure of their actual race or whether they are an Afro-Argentine ancestor. Immigration laws in Europe. 2/3 of Argentina's population can be attributed to European immigrants in the 19th century, following a series of wars that had reduced the population. This fact is supported by statistics that show this was one of the subtle strategies used by the Argentine government to erase its history of blackness. Argentina actively encouraged European immigration. This request was probably made to replenish the nation's population. Argentina's constitution, dating back to 1853, played a pivotal role in the country's immigration history. The 25th article of the Constitution, despite having abolished slavery, remarkably allowed immigrants to enter the nation without constraints. This open-door policy raised intriguing inquiries into the underlying motives of the Argentine government. The influx of European immigrants during this period presented Argentina with the opportunity for significant expansion. The steady stream of newcomers from Europe offered the prospect of a larger nation, pushing the country towards a vision of progress and prosperity. It is plausible to consider that Argentina may have perceived European immigration as a means to overshadow its history, which was already leaning towards a predominantly white direction. As European immigrants flocked to Argentina, the country witnessed a gradual dilution of its growing black population. The increasing presence of Europeans led to the emergence of a new mixed-race demographic, altering the nation's social fabric. However, racial profiling was unavoidable in a nation that took great pride in its European heritage. In Argentina, the country's European character had a tremendous impact on societal attitudes, particularly racist ones. What do you think? Did European immigration laws and whitening strategies contribute to Argentina's infamous black people-free status? Was the decline in the black population a natural or systematic process? Untold tales of slavery and the disappearance of the black population in Argentina continue to be a dark chapter in the country's history. The shocking revelations shed light on the systematic eradication of a once vibrant group, creating a hole in the nation's identity. Black people suffered greatly from involuntary enslavement in Buenos Aires's early years through racist whitening practices. The consequences of racial injustice and neglect serve as a sobering reminder of the significance of admitting and facing the errors of the past. As we strive for a more inclusive and equitable future, learning from these mistakes is crucial, and ensuring that all voices, regardless of their history, are heard, valued, and celebrated. Considering this horrific story, we must work towards a more accepting and caring future.